I fucked up.
Why?
Because, look, I think about what I'm gonna. Well, I don't think about it, right? I'm like, as I'm sitting here, I think about what I'm gonna do as the intro. I don't think about it during the week, right? And I keep thinking back to the day I said politics, and I'm like, no, I just call it politics. I'm never gonna beat that. But anyway, hello, hi, welcome. The name of the show is Politics. Although I call it Politics, and the title of this episode is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
My name is Fresh.
And I am Ty.
So, a little bit of cleanup from last week. It was our most unprofessional episode to date. Right? We didn't even say our names at the beginning. And at the end, we didn't mention the URL where they can find our links. One of the worst episodes we've ever done.
Fair enough. Okay.
Alright. That's why in the document I wrote, my name is Presh. You can see. Because imagine. Yeah. Also, I should mention that it's raining quite heavily, so if you hear,
relaxing rain noises,
some pitter patter there, it's not my fault. I'm not the weatherman. Yeah. Imagine thinking, it's the weatherman, he decides. There's a local council of weathermen who decide what the weather's going to be for. And they've been sending tornadoes and shit to fuck up places, bro. Imagine your local cabal of weathermen destroyed an area. They did Hurricane Katrina. Yeah. Anyway, in the recommendation section, I spoke about the movie yesterday.
Yeah.
Where they forget all the Beatles songs.
Yeah.
and I was thinking of a song. That song was "All You Need Is Love."
Ah, I see. Yes.
But anyway, that's the majority of the song. I don't remember. So when I was thinking about it, I don't know why I just didn't say "All You Need Is Love." Yeah. But anyway, so not a lot of cleanup. It was just.
A little bit.
But very important things. It's like a small amount, but important stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't say our names. How are they going to know who's the host? What if last week we weren't here? It was other people. How would the listeners know? They wouldn't know.
But we were here last week.
They don't know that. It's not a visual medium, it's theatre of the mind.
Yeah, but how would they?
Alright, listeners.
Okay.
Listeners, we're recording this on a beach, right?
Yeah.
And I'm naked.
A rainy beach, apparently.
No, there's no rain. Yes, and I'm drinking, out of a coconut, Right? That's theatre of the mind. I've put you, sorry to lie, listeners, but that's not actually where we are. But I put that picture into your mind, right? It's like I said, theatre of the mind. I've conjured an image, right? Anyway,
let's get on with it.
Yes, you distracted me. It's not my fault, listeners. Anyway, so this week the June 2 trailer came out.
Yeah,
I love June.
Yeah,
I've just been walking around shouting June, 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 June. Anyway, people don't know what's going on. My neighbors have complained several times. Have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yes, like I said in the Avatar episode, 2023, the Dune boys ride again. I don't want to talk about trailers.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time trailers ruin stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about it too much, but just I actually don't watch trailers usually. It's just I was just too excited to watch this.
You needed to get your Dune fix.
Yes, it's been so long. Anyway, so the next news story.
Okay.
So it's not a peek behind the curtain.
Okay.
Anyway, when I say peek behind the curtain, I'm not talking about like a curtain in a house,
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I guess we are in a house, and you can peek behind the curtain to see us if you are outside. But I mean, when you say a peek behind the curtain, you usually mean it's like you're on a stage.
Yeah.
And you peek behind the curtain to see the actors who aren't currently on the stage. They maybe changing costume or something.
Yeah.
So this is me tearing down that curtain.
Oh my goodness. Right. Okay.
I'm going to admit something.
Okay.
This is my second attempt at starting a podcast. Alright. So, in short, last year I tried to start one, but the previous host was extremely unreliable, so I booted him out.
Yeah.
Right. It's not much better with this co-host too. You have not watched Empire Strikes Back.
How is that unreliable?
Okay, yes, it's worse. It's worse than being unreliable. Thank you. I agree. Yeah. Anyway, so on the previous show, roughly October, we are covering the ousting of Mpo Falatse as mayor of Joburg.
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, the former mayor of Joburg. Yes. Right. She's a member of the DA.
Yeah.
Right. Both her and the council speaker were removed from office in a vote of no confidence, despite being the majority coalition. Right?
Yeah.
So essentially, like, rogue members of the coalition voted to remove the speaker, and then after this vote, the DA took revenge by, like, expelling those members that voted against them. Yeah. Right? So, and then after this action essay, tried to, like, renegotiate the terms of the coalition, because obviously things have changed now, you know.
Yeah. Like
I said, people were expelled. So the DA really took offense to this. They were very upset. So, and then they had a vote for the mayor, and Action SA didn't vote for the mayor. So the mayor was also removed. Right. But anyway, due to like a small procedural error, the vote was deemed to be null and void. Like, I don't think there were enough members of the I don't want to say parliament, because it's not parliament, it's the local...
Like the council.
I don't think enough members of the council were present at that meeting for it to be
a regular vote. Considered a normal vote, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why it was reversed.
Yeah.
Right? Just hang on. So, in January of this year, they held another vote for a motion of no confidence, and she was removed again. Right. Because the DA Action SA coalition, has been fractured and then kind of a disarray, right?
Yeah.
So the opposition coalition led by like the ANC and the EFF are in a position of strength.
Okay.
But the EFF tells the ANC that they won't vote for any candidates that the ANC put forward.
Wow.
Right, and I assume installing an EFF person would give the EFF too much power for the ANC's liking. So, as a compromise, they chose a junior member of the coalition.
Okay.
It's a party called Al Jamaa.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. Right? I'm going to spell it AL space. So that's L. I'm fine with that. Right, but it's JAMA-AH. Do you say Jama or do you say Jamaa?
I don't know. I feel like it's Jamaa, but that's just me.
I think it's just in one, motion. Al Jamaa.
It could be, yeah.
Alright, to put forward a candidate, right?
Yeah.
So the person Al Jamaa put forward is a guy by the name of Tapelo Ahmad.
Okay.
Right? 3 months late in April, Tapelo Ahmad also faced a vote of no confidence.
No way.
Right?
Okay.
But instead of facing the vote, he resigned. Right. And I should say, throughout his tenure, he was labeled a puppet of both the ANC and the EFF. Right?
Okay.
But I mean, that's kind of obvious. That's why they put him in.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine seeing something obvious and you're like, I have a theory about it. Alright. Are you familiar with the Disney Channel program Hannah Montana?
Yes.
So, it tells us that there's two protagonists, right?
Yes.
Miley and Hannah.
Yes.
But my theory is, what if the two of them were actually the same person, but one of them is wearing a wig?
No. Can't be.
Gosh darn it. I was so close. I thought I had something. Yeah, but anyway, that's what these people are doing here. They're like, this guy the ANC and EFF installed, is he maybe a puppet?
No.
No.
Cannot be.
Yeah, but anyway, so which leads us to this week.
Okay.
Where they had another election for mayor and another member of Al Jamaa won. Okay. And his name is Kabelo Gwamanda. He's the current mayor of Joburg.
Okay.
Right? Alright, so after losing the vote, Mpho Falatse said, so she was the DA's candidate as well.
Yeah,
but
right.
now, their coalition has become so fractured, the Action SA also put a candidate forward. But anyway, so like after the DA lost, right, Mpho Falatse said that Gwamanda, through his entity Itemba Lama Africa, that's Africa spelled with a K, scammed innocent residents into investing through his entity, into investing in a funeral/investment scheme.
Yeah.
However, the investors were left hanging dry when it was time to claim their benefits.
Well, that's kind of rude.
The Al Jama party has denied these allegations and insists that the ANC vetted him before putting him forward as a coalition's choice for mayor. Right, we'll see how the story develops, but the fact that the DA only brought this up after they lost makes them look kind of like sore losers. Like, if they had brought it up before the vote and been like, well, we don't, we have concerns about this person, and then he won, they would have like a leg to stand on. But it's like, they're bringing it up after they've lost,
It's a bit suspicious.
Looks a bit sus.
Yeah.
And you're just a sore fucking loser. But anyway, whatever. So the next thing is the righteous strike.
Yes.
So
You.
Yes, because, once again, I could fall into a ditch one day and then you do the pods and you and you go against everything. I've said, listen, we're boycotting this, and then you do it. You do a whole series on it, week after week on the same thing too. Right? So I'm just going to say I fully support striking. Right?
I also support striking.
Alright, that's fine, but...
Cool.
Who knows what your views are going to be like when I fall down that canyon, As soon as you see me, it's like, in The Lion King, when, I was going to say Mufasa falls off the thing.
Yeah.
And Scar pushed him. That's you. You're Scar, you're pushing me into you're throwing me to the buffaloes so you can make a Flash episode. And, Anyway, right. So every worker should be a member of a union.
Yes.
And even the so-called white-collar jobs, right? It's so the argument that the right wing puts forward is, you're earning a good wage as a insert white-collar job.
Yeah.
Like maybe a lawyer or like an accountant or I don't know, like a journalist or a writer of some kind.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be a member of a union.
Yes.
Because that's not quote-unquote real work.
Yeah.
The people who need unions are like miners and like...
taxi drivers. Actually, I don't know if they have like a specific union.
No, like plumbers.
Do plumbers have unions?
They should.
They should, but I don't know if they do.
Yeah, but my point being, it's not just about pay.
Yeah.
It's about working conditions.
Yes.
If you're being forced to work like... extra hours every week, your union is who would step in and say you're placing unreasonable demands on this person.
Yeah.
Right. Your union is what stands up for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And the more members a union has, the more bargaining power they have in times like this in a strike.
Yeah.
Because they can say all our workers are going to stop working.
Yeah.
Until you negotiate with us in good faith.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So. The Writers Guild of America have gone on strike.
Oh, nice.
Right. They're mainly striking for 3 reasons. The first being residuals from streaming shows. Do you know what residuals are?
Is it like leftover scripts?
No. So like, say I make a hit TV show.
Right.
And it goes for like 100 episodes.
Okay.
100 episodes is the number for syndication.
Okay.
So... say I'm in America, I make a show for ABC or whatever.
Yeah.
It goes to 100 episodes. Once it hits 100 episodes, it's eligible for syndication, which means they can sell it around the world, to like an ETV.
Yeah.
Or, whatever the different countries are, the local distributors, they can sell it there.
Yeah.
And every time it gets played on one of those channels, and like an ad goes by, a portion of that money goes back to the writers and the actors and, the creators of the show.
Yeah.
But in the era of streaming, there's no residuals anymore.
Yeah.
They just get paid an upfront payment and then that's it.
Yeah.
Right? So Yeah. So they just want to, receive the same payment they used to get, writers used to get. That's all.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The second thing is the removal of micro writers' rooms.
Okay.
Do you know what those are?
I'm assuming it's like a room where writers go to write and
no
pitch ideas to each other and stuff.
It's instead of a writer's room having 10 people, they instead having 5.
Oh.
So what was traditionally the work of 10 people is being done by 5 people, and in a much smaller time frame.
Okay.
So usually they'd keep writers on from the beginning of the project to the end.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you write a script, you hand in the script,
and that's it.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Like they on the set and they if they need to make a rewrite on the fly, or if something's not working, or maybe a line of dialogue doesn't work, they could improvise.
They'll create something else that
does work better or something like that, right? So the writers are not just involved at the beginning; they're involved in all parts of the process. So recently, studios have been doing micro writers' rooms where smaller, less people, and less time.
Yeah, right.
Which puts a lot of pressure, and you don't do as good work.
Yeah.
The second thing is younger writers don't get an opportunity because these smaller rooms, right? Yeah. If there's a bigger room, you as a younger writer can come in, learn the ropes from more experienced writers, and improve your hone your craft.
Yeah.
So last week we were speaking about Jesse Armstrong in Succession.
Yeah.
He worked for Veep, and he wasn't young, but I mean, my point being is he worked his way up through different writers' rooms, and he learned better techniques, better writing, and now he finally has a chance to make Succession.
Yeah.
And other young writers won't get that chance if it's just smaller, micro rooms, because obviously you'd always get the more experienced person.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. The third thing is the assurance that AI will only be used as a tool to research and not be used to produce final scripts.
That seems kind of obvious.
Right. The fact that the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers didn't immediately give in to this demand is horrifying. Right?
Oh no.
We often complain about movies being too formulaic, and imagine if it's literally being written by a robot.
Oh goodness.
Right. The reason why we engage in movies, and just with art in general, is to see human ingenuity at work. Right?
Yeah.
And again, I will never cover an AI-generated movie on this podcast. I can't speak for my co-host. He's rubbing his hands together, planning a whole AI series, but he's also planning to turn this podcast into an AI podcast. But I'm saying, as long as I'm around, I won't do those things. Right. The next story of the week is the Met Gala, the Metropolitan Galavant.
Yeah.
Did you hear about it?
I did. Yeah.
And kind of contrary to this podcast's beliefs, I don't like it when people try to make a political point at these things.
But why?
Because it's not the right place. You can't be palling around with these rich people and then say wear a dress that says tax the rich.
Yeah.
Right. So last year AOC wore that dress, right? Yeah. And he had tax the rich in red letters.
Okay.
I just assumed that she wanted to go to this thing, but thought the optics would look bad.
Yeah.
And people will call her a hypocrite. So she wore that dress to offset the criticism.
Makes sense.
Right. But there's nothing anti-socialist or anti-leftist about wearing a dress and having a fun time at a party, Yeah. You can just go to this party, and if the right wing calls a hypocrite, you can just say fuck off, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. It's just a fun time.
Fair enough.
But just be honest about it. Couching it in this oh, I'm actually doing activism by wearing this dress. It's just extremely cringe to me, right? Yeah. It feels like performative nonsense.
Okay.
If you were serious about activism, you wouldn't be gallivanting around with these high society types, right?
Yeah.
You'd be using your time trying to make tangible change, aside from, she's a member of Congress, right?
Yeah.
So she does do
congressional things.
Yeah, like she can pass a bill that makes people's lives better. But aside from that, in her personal life, she could be, using her celebrity and status to get people involved in like projects, to volunteer in things around her neighborhood, or, it's this form of activism. It just seems hollow, just seems lame. But again, this was a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like a year ago.
Yeah. As for this year's event, I don't know what happened. Because I don't care. Right? The fact that this happened this week just reminded me of what she did last year, and I thought I'd bring it up. But I do think there was somebody who had a statement dress or something. But yeah.
I know that there was someone in a cat costume, and that's it.
All right, yeah. The fashion beat is not what I work. So let's just move on.
Okay, fair enough.
So do you know the name Jordan Neely?
Yes.
Right. Extremely unfortunately, he was a homeless man who was strangled to death this week. Right.
Yeah.
He had a mental health incident on a train.
Yeah.
So his mother was murdered by her partner when he was a teenager.
Okay.
And he suffered a number of mental health issues, related to this, which led him to homelessness.
Okay.
His death illustrates the need for universal health care.
Agreed. I
know certain people will say, oh, you're politicizing somebody's death. But if, this issue was tackled in the way I'm speaking about, he wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
So I don't mind politicizing his death.
Yeah.
Right? In America and our country, medicine is for profit.
Yes.
Right, and we're told that the benefit of capitalism is the profit motive, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to a government program, private companies make a profit, so it incentivizes them to work harder and make a better product, right?
Right.
That's what they tell us.
Yes.
But what if it also gives them perverse incentives?
Okay.
So, for example, instead of finding a cure for a disease, they would be incentivized to find a drug that makes the disease more tolerable instead.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ended the disease, you're not going to make as much money as if you just keep the disease there but just make it tolerable. So now you have a subscription payment. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you've incentivized.
It's like there's this, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but every now and then someone will find something that's like, it's not like, let's say, a cure for cancer, but it's like a really good treatment that could cure cancer.
Yes.
Right?
And it won't get funded.
Not quite. It's just, well, I don't know if it's actually true or not, but every time I see something like that on Twitter, not a few days later, but there'll be like comments that are like, and this person will mysteriously die in a few days. Every single time.
Yeah. So anyway, the majority of developed countries have universal healthcare as a right.
Yeah.
It's just assumed that everyone knows this is what. Yeah. Right. If America had universal healthcare, Jordan Neely would have received the mental health treatment he needed, and he would not be homeless, and we would not have had this incident on the train that day.
Yeah.
Right. So, how it would work is our taxes go up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But healthcare becomes free at point of service. So, if you're paying a healthcare premium now, that cost goes away.
Yeah.
And the treatment you're receiving stays the same.
Yeah.
Right. An argument the right wing has spread to people is that, well, why should I have to pay for people who don't exercise and have a poor diet? It's their fault that they're in hospital. Could get some disease from.
Yeah.
Not exercising or poor diet, etc. Right.
Yeah.
First of all, I think we should just take care of people simply because they're human beings.
Agreed.
That's the end of the story, right?
Yeah.
But if I have to sell it to you in selfish terms, if this person dies from cholesterol because they ate poorly or from cancer because they smoke cigarettes, we're losing a member of our workforce.
Yeah.
Right? This person could be an up-and-coming engineer and they're smoking because they're under tremendous pressure to deliver and they're not making enough money to have good health care.
Yeah.
We as an engineer are one. We as a nation are one.
We as an engineer are one nation down.
We as a nation are one engineer down. right?
Yeah.
Secondly, the majority of healthcare issues are not someone's fault.
Yeah.
Like in this example, Jordan was to blame for the trauma he experienced when his mom was murdered.
Yeah.
Universal healthcare is such an easy topic to agree on. It's literal madness that every country doesn't have it, right?
Yeah.
Certain people will say, well, we are too poor of a country to implement it. But
Yeah.
countries with smaller economies to us, such as Algeria, have it, and they have better health outcomes than us.
Yeah.
Another bullshit argument the right wing likes to throw out is that using the profit, private companies can do more research than government funded programs. In a meta study by Hakoum et al. In 2017, the reporting of funding sources within 200 clinical trials was assessed. 58% of studies were funded by the government and 40% by private companies.
Interesting.
Right? So,
Yeah.
these people are full of shit. Dude.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, even the coronavirus vaccine,
Yeah.
it was created by the US government,
Yeah.
but they needed it to be distributed by the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
So they do the research, but they don't have the capability of distribution and, and not just distribution, creating it as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so the public funds the research, and these private companies profit off the research.
So why not just take out the private company
Yeah.
and have the government
That's what I'm
do the
saying.
whole thing?
It's just one of those easy things. I just don't understand how
Yeah.
people are against it. Anyway,
Makes sense.
also this week was the coronation of His Royal Highness King Charles III.
Yep.
Again, this is a disgrace. Again, peek behind, not a peek. The curtain's being pulled down, and you can see what's happening. On the previous podcast, I celebrated the death of the Queen, Lizzie.
Oh my
Lizzie,
goodness.
you're in hell.
Oh jeez.
Okay, we're cutting to a live broadcast from her. Ow! Oh! Ah! Stop poking me with that that pitchfork! Ah! I'm burning! Ah! Right. Having a monarchy in the current day is utter stupidity, right?
Yeah.
The right wing claims that the monarchy brings in a lot of tourist money for England.
Yeah.
But first of all, the fact that it makes money is not a good argument in and of itself.
True.
Do you remember when we were speaking about legalizing marijuana?
Yes.
And we said just because it could potentially make money doesn't mean it's a good idea to legalize something or do something.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a moral argument as well combined with the economic argument is why it should be done.
Yeah.
There's no moral argument for to have a monarchy. There's nobody who should be elevated above other people by virtue of their birth.
Yeah.
Everybody should, have a free shot. Or, not a free shot. You know what I'm saying? A good shot at life.
Yeah.
Based on their own merits, not not by birth, right?
Although they could have everyone has a free shot at the king, and whoever hits him becomes the next king.
Fair.
Yeah.
But our football is allowed. Or like some form of like pro athletes.
Yeah, I guess. But then they'd have to give up their footballing career. Or like their athletics career.
Alright. The second thing is the vast majority of tourism in the UK has nothing to do with the monarchy, right? It's a lie put out by the Crown.
Yeah.
A study showed that it's something like 4% of tourists come to see
4%.
to see the monarchy,
Yeah.
right? And the Premier League forced clubs to play the national anthem at games this week.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I support the team I support. They booed the entire anthem, right? If you don't know, Liverpool is like a very socialist area.
Yeah.
They are totally against the monarchy and against the Tory government.
Yeah.
So we're getting another transmission here. This is from Margaret Thatcher.
Oh my.
Ah, ooh, ooh, ah, 2 pitchforks. Mine. Right. Anyway, there was only one person, potentially in the entire stadium, who sang the national anthem.
And who might that have been?
Our captain.
Oh.
Also, our worst fucking player. I want him out of my fucking club, bro. Honestly, so look, the news is out this week that Milner's going to Brighton.
Yes. So
Milner is like 4 years older than him and can still do a job.
Yeah.
This guy, to say that he's finished implies that he ever started. He's been rubbish since the day he stepped in. Yeah, right? And I have a friend who's brainwashed, right?
Okay.
He keeps saying, well, how did we win the Champions League and the Premier League with him in the team?
Trent, Salah, Mane.
We won in spite of this dipshit. It's like having a Make-A-Wish child in the Champions League final, bro. This is one of the most awful players to ever grace the pitch. The day I see the back of this piece of shit will be the best day of my life. Fuck him. And fuck his, hopes of becoming the king or whatever. Singing the fucking national anthem. Fuck you.
A Make-A-Wish kid in the Champions League final.
That's what he is, bro. But anyway, do you have any news?
I do have some news, actually.
Alright, so drop some news.
Recently, like a month ago, just under a month ago, some big fighting broke out in Khartoum, which is the capital of Sudan, right? And that was between two kind of, I guess, military factions, wanting to obviously take control of what they said was that the other faction started it, so they're just fighting back. Like, both of them said the same thing, and that was, the other faction started it, we're fighting back. Right? And, so, this past Saturday, they started talks in Jeddah. Not Jeddah. No, it was Jeddah, yeah. They started talks in Jeddah to hopefully have a ceasefire. However, they've said that they're going to stop killing civilians. Well, not confirmed, but they're open to talks to stop killing civilians, but they're going to continue killing each other.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, not for the people fighting.
No, but I mean, civilians not dying.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
That is a plus, yes.
That's an unqualified success.
Yeah.
Alright, but carry on.
Yeah. That's really about it in terms of important news.
So you have other news.
There is other news, but
I'm looking at you looking at a bunch of shit, and that's the only thing you mentioned. You're looking at a full screen of shit. And so many lines of text, and that's all.
Yeah, because I don't want this episode to be too long.
I don't give a fuck, carry on. Again, I'm in a war with the listeners. The Too Short gang. I'm sick of you.
So, the South African Health Department. Well, actually, before that, in the past week, the WHO, the World Health Organization, has declassified COVID as a public health emergency of international concern.
Wow.
So it's no longer a public health emergency. However, our health department has said that they can still offer vaccines. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, little peek behind the curtain. The two of us always get our vaccines together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep doing that.
I don't know why they need to know that.
Just
so like, if they wanted to assassinate us, they just wait for us to both go to vaccinated at once. They'll put a disease and mix it in with the COVID vaccine. Yeah, kill us both. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of other people getting vaccinated that day will also die, but they got us.
Small price to pay for killing us.
And now you gave them all this is bad operation security, bro. Anyway, some poor upset. But yeah, carry on.
And then a little bit of feel-good news. There's a para-athlete named Sean Clark who's going to be cycling from Johannesburg to Cape Town and then swimming from Robben Island back to Cape Town in October to raise funds for prosthetic legs.
Alright.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to make a joke.
No, that's it.
Listeners,
I'm not the joking one.
if you've been following this podcast, all this guy has done is made fun of people with disabilities, and this is the first time he's mentioned them positively. So I'm like, what's his angle here?
I'm just sharing some news.
I'm sure this is like a long-term con. This eventually turns out to be a bad guy. And you're like, yeah, I got him. All right. Well, if we're taking him at his word, that's a good.
Yeah,
I'm talking about you, not the guy. Not the guy cycling. If I'm taking you at your word, this is a feel-good story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there's another layer this guy is brought in here, but whatever.
Well, we'll see what happens come October. But I'm hoping he succeeds.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that sarcastic, listeners? You write
No.
in. Write in, listeners.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
what is the context here?
The context for Guardians.
Yes.
That.
All right. So
Okay, let's go.
So in 2013, Marvel was in a perceived rut.
Okay.
So Iron Man 3 was extremely controversial.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
So they, do you know the Mandarin?
Yes.
They didn't do the comic book accurate version of the Mandarin.
Oh. Okay.
They eventually did him in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And we find out that the previous Mandarin was just like a fraud.
Yeah.
A fraudster, right? But, yeah, so at the time people were quite upset.
Okay.
And so was I. I just thought it was a bad movie. Not I was upset about the Mandarin twist.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, as time has gone on, I've come around on it. I actually like Iron Man 3 a lot.
Okay.
Do you know Shane Black?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
He's the director of that movie.
Oh.
And I became more familiar with his oeuvre.
Okay.
He made Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, right. Okay.
And there's another one I'm trying to think of now that he. But yes, this is his kind of. Oh. Is it The Long Kiss Goodnight?
I have no idea.
Alright, but anyway, he makes detective stories, and if you view it through the lens of a detective, like a buddy cop kind of detective movie, it's way better than
You know, superhero movie.
Yes, way better than a superhero movie. So, look, in hindsight, I like Iron Man 3 a lot, but at the time it was quite controversial. People were very upset with it.
Okay.
The first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was also out at that time, which people didn't like.
Yeah.
Again, that show really turns around in the second half of season 1.
Yeah.
There's a big twist reveal that coincides with something in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
But yes, once after that season 1, that first like half of season 1 was kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
So and that was coming out at around the same time as Iron Man.
Okay.
So people were quite disillusioned.
Okay.
And also that year is Thor 2.
Okay.
Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
That's frequently like at the bottom of people's MCU lists, right? People hate that movie.
Okay.
So, no, not just controversial like Iron Man, like outright hatred.
Okay.
Honestly, it's another one where I look back and I like it a lot.
Oh my! You are like the poster child for the weird movie Stockholm Syndrome.
It's not Stockholm Syndrome.
That's kind of.
I watched it once when it came out, and I watched it once again.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's not Stockholm
Fair
Syndrome.
enough.
It's just I really like space stuff.
Okay.
So
yeah, fair enough.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a lot more like because after Taika Waititi came in,
Yeah.
the Thor movies have just been outright comedies
Yeah.
to its detriment in certain areas, I feel.
Yeah.
But this Thor 2 was more like Game of Thrones kind of. Well, it was directed by one of the directors from Game of Thrones. His name is Alan Taylor.
Okay.
It was more like a magisterial kind of medieval
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot. Again, in hindsight.
In hindsight.
But at the time, I don't think I even watched it at the time.
Oh. Okay.
I think I watched it like on TV,
Yeah.
months after it came out.
Like on Mnet Movies One or something.
Yeah. Not even that. Like, I don't know, when it went to the other channels.
Like ETV showing.
Yeah.
Oh.
I totally missed that, right?
Okay.
But anyway, in 2014, they come back with 2 critical mega hits. Because like Iron Man and Thor still made money.
Yeah.
It's just they weren't viewed critically well.
Yeah.
Right. And these two movies in 2014 were Captain America: The Winter Soldier,
Okay.
which is like the 70s spy thriller,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I loved Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But this is one in hindsight I look at and I'm like, this is kind of bad.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I did eventually get around to watching those 70s crime thrillers like The Parallax View and
Yeah.
All the President's Men and Clute and The Firm. Well, that came in the 90s, but nevertheless, it's
Same difference.
still part of that oeuvre, you know. Like I watched a lot of these. What's the one with Jane Hackman? The Conversation.
Yeah.
All these paranoia movies from the 70s. I watched them, and I'm like, this Captain America movie, it like kind of plays its hand too quickly.
Oh yeah.
It's not even halfway through the movie we find out Robert Redford is the villain. It's,
Spoilers.
yes, but yeah, it's they again, like I said, they play their hand too quickly. There's not enough mystery. There's not enough like we're like worried about who's this tactician behind the scenes pulling the strings, because he's just almost immediately they release all their tension in that first
First half or so.
yeah. So then the rest of the movie, it's like, all right, well, there's quite a clear path forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still enjoy the action and stuff. I'm just talking on a story level that
Yeah.
they kind of dropped a few. Like, it's still a good movie. It just dropped a few after I, watched it in relation to those 70s movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other movie in 2014 was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Neat coincidence.
How crazy is that?
And anyway, like we mentioned in the Ant-Man episode, prior to the movies, the Avengers was like sort of B tier characters.
Yeah.
Some C tier, right?
Right.
But like the popular Marvel stuff used to be Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the X-Men.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy are F tier characters.
Yeah.
They are.
Yes.
Like, I'd like to think I'm a big comics fan, but I'd never even heard of them right? Until 2013, when I saw them appear in the animated Spider-Man show.
Yeah.
I assume, corporate synergy at Disney. They were like, we need to make children aware of of the Guardians, so let's put them in our animated shows.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I knew them.
Okay.
A few months before the movie came out, right? I'd never, been familiar with them, and I feel that's the general kind of feeling around them.
Yeah.
That they were just unknown characters, right? And this is kind of like Marvel's greatest trick.
Okay.
They took a bunch of nobodies. I'm only talking about the characters, like the actors.
Yeah.
Like Zoe Saldana as Neytiri.
Yeah. The actors are in fact somebodies.
Yes, they were well-known actors, but the characters were not well-known, and simply like making a good movie.
Yeah.
And they made 700 million.
That's insane.
Right, and an advantage of not being well-known is that there was more creative freedom to make changes.
Yeah.
So this is not even the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
So they were originally a team in the future.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember Guardians 2?
Yes.
We meet the Ravagers.
Yeah.
We have Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And you have a guy who's like a Doctor Strange type guy.
Yeah.
Well, we see them in this
Yeah.
movie too. But I'm saying we were introduced to them properly in that first movie.
Yeah.
So them and Yondu and Michelle Yeoh's character, they were the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
But
yeah.
they were set like in the year 3000, like in the future.
Yeah.
So the second version of them with Peter Quill, Gamora,
Yeah.
Rocket, is retroactively like, the inspiration for that future team.
So they're
the current Guardians.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess it just made sense because obviously you'd include the current one, not the one 3,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were still integrated into the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
With Stallone in them, the Ravagers are essentially the original.
Yeah.
And they are, in the movie universe, they are the inspiration for the Guardians.
Yeah.
Because Yondu kind of brought Quill.
Yeah.
And, well, not really. They're just two separate groups, right?
They are pretty much.
Yeah.
But they're like, I don't know.
But anyway, So on a personal level, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are my favorite in the MCU.
Okay.
It kind of filled the void of having no Star Wars for years.
Yeah.
Because it came out the year before Force Awakens.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just like, we haven't had fun space stuff in a long time.
Okay.
At least since the prequels.
Yeah. It's been a
And
while.
again, remember in the Avatar episodes, I didn't watch Avatar at the time.
Yeah.
I watched it in 2021. Or just, you know...
Like, not long
at
before
least
Avatar.
At least during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? So I that wasn't in my thinking at the time. And I think I'd be too young to fully appreciate
Okay.
Avatar. But
Yeah.
anyway, the thing is, there was that void for a fun space romp.
Okay.
And
yeah.
so yeah, the Guardians, they were set to a groovy soundtrack, and I also just love the ending to the first one. Right? The dance battle to save the universe. I don't really like, you know, when there's a big fight to end it. I like when there's a creative solution to solving the problem.
Right.
You know, in Doctor Strange, he traps Dormammu in the time loop, and he says, you know, I can't win, but yes, he did. He says, Dormammu, I've come to bargain with you.
Yeah.
Yes, but the point I'm saying is, he says, I can't win, but I can lose again and again and again.
Yeah.
Right? It's a creative way to defeat the villain.
Yeah.
I like those. And a dance battle.
That's a really cool way of doing it.
Yes. So, and you know, I speak about the comedy in Marvel movies.
Yes.
So, Taika Waititi, I think he goes overboard.
Yeah. He can.
James Gunn, I think he's the guy who treads that line the best.
Yeah.
He puts in jokes, but it doesn't overshadow the heart and the serious moments. He'll let a serious moment play out.
Yeah.
Much more so than all the other Marvel directors.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. He hits that right mixture of humor and emotional moments.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah. So James Gunn, who's the creator of the Guardians movies, was a hectic anti-Trump critic.
Oh.
Right? So every time Trump did something bad, James Gunn would comment on it, you know, tweet about it.
Yeah.
And this drew the ire of the right wing.
Okay.
So led by a right wing figure named Weird Mike Cernovich. Have you ever heard of him?
Any relation to Weird Al Yankovic?
No.
Okay.
Well, this guy, he talks with a lisp.
Oh.
And he's just a extremely misogynistic piece of shit, bro.
Oh.
He called his newborn daughter a bitch.
Oh.
I don't know
What?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what's wrong with this fucking guy, right?
What? Okay.
And
yeah.
and again, you know, I said he has a lisp.
Yeah.
People bullied him for having a lisp.
Oh.
So he has this like persecution complex that like you know,
Everyone
anyone who's saying anything negative to him is they just bullying.
Yeah.
Whereas there's substantial criticisms about what a piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
Right, but never mind. He tried to cancel James Gunn for edgy tweets he had made years prior.
Yeah.
Right? And let's be clear, the tweets are disgusting.
Okay.
Right? He makes jokes about child rape,
Oh.
which are extremely disturbing.
Yeah.
Right? So he was fired from Marvel.
Okay. That's that.
This happened in like 2019.
Okay.
He was fired from Marvel, and but I don't think making rude jokes is a crime, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Second of all, those tweets were from like 9-10 years prior. They were from 2009, and they had brought it up in 2019.
Okay.
So it's this is the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, so you think people can't change?
Yeah.
The thing is, people don't bother to check if somebody changed, right?
Yeah.
So for example, Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I think we're all familiar with the Rihanna incident.
Yes.
So he constantly says, that's something that happened when I was, young. People hold that incident against me for the rest of my life, you know.
Yeah.
And he started bringing up like white people who were involved in domestic violence cases.
Yeah.
Then he said that, you know, have been given, you know, who have gone back into public life.
Yeah.
Right, and he is trying to say that it's because of racism that he isn't being given a fair shot.
Okay. Yeah.
But the Rihanna incident was the first of many violent outbursts, right?
Yeah.
He apparently got in a fight with Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
He a new story came out this week about him getting into a violent situation as well, right?
So clearly he hasn't changed.
It's not about specifically the Rihanna situation. It's about the behavior of, being aggressive and dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying to say, oh, it's all about this one incident. No, it's about a pattern of behavior that you've done over years, right?
Yeah.
So, but if it had stopped at that Rihanna incident, and after that he had never had another incident again of being violent in public or something, that's changed behavior.
Yeah.
The best apology is changed behavior.
Yeah.
Right. And by all accounts, James Gunn hasn't made rape jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the 10 years since then.
Yeah.
So that's changed behavior.
Yeah.
Right. And so Marvel rehired him.
Fair enough.
Right. And I'd say, isn't this a good example of why the left isn't so loony after all?
Okay.
When I said they saw someone with changed behavior and decided he shouldn't be cancelled.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
However, Weird Mike and right wingers would probably turn it on me and say that the reason the cancellation failed is because James Gunn is quote unquote on the left. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a liberal, by the way. Once again, liberal is a right-wing ideology. He is not quote-unquote on the left, but in their minds, yes, he is quote-unquote on the left.
Fair
right?
enough.
And they'd say if you were a right-winger, he would have been cancelled,
Yeah.
If you can show me a right-winger who has shown actual remorse for something they were cancelled for, right?
Yeah.
And remorse over the actual incident, not remorse over the money they lost from being cancelled over that incident, right?
All right.
I'd be like, okay, this person should be uncancelled, right?
Yeah.
But you can't show me that person because the right wing are usually they're not apologetic about the thing that happened. They're apologetic about
the consequences
of that action.
Yeah.
Right. Please, listeners, if you think I'm talking shit, please send in examples of right wingers you believe have done the necessary adjustments in their life to change and were given a second chance that I'm overlooking.
Yeah.
All right.
Leave it in the comments below.
So anyway, in the interim of Marvel firing him, Warner Brothers hired him to direct their 2020 Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
And he also did the Peacemaker TV show, which is a spin-off of the Suicide Squad, John Cena's character.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And last year they appointed him as the new head of DC.
Yeah.
Meaning Guardians Volume 3 will be his last Marvel movie.
Oh.
So Dave Bautista was upset at Disney for firing James Gunn and said this will also be his last movie as Drax.
Oh, okay.
Right? And Zoe Saldana has said she doesn't want to be Gamora anymore and she should be recast.
Okay.
So this has like a one last ride type of feel going into it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure in the trailer as well they say one last ride or something like that. Right. So whatever happens in the movie will probably be the last time we see this particular iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, it's a vastly different team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So anyway, lastly, there was a Guardians Christmas special that was shot at the same time as this movie.
Yeah.
Where Mantis reveals that she's also a child of Ego, thereby making her Quill's sister. Which they just kind of mentioned in this movie offhandedly without mentioning, like explaining it at all. Which I kind of like, because I actually kind of assumed that she was, a child of Ego.
Okay.
From watching the second movie, I don't really think it needed to be confirmed. But
and then they confirmed.
Yeah, they made it a plot point in the Guardians Christmas special.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to be doing the Guardians Christmas special as our commentary this week. Yeah. So subscribe to Patreon if you want to listen to that.
With the URL that we'll do later.
Maybe we should tell them now in case we forget. Okay, but anyway. So, going into the movie,
Yeah.
Thoughts? Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure, I can. I don't know, because on one hand, it was like there was some really nice things, like there was a lot of comedy and like cheesy jokes, which I quite enjoy, and there were some fight scenes that were really, really nice. Like towards the end, there's
The one take always.
yeah, yes,
Yes.
that I love that, right? But on the other hand, I found it so long. It was like, in my opinion, it was unnecessarily long. Like, for example, if they didn't have the mix-up where they, like, Dave Bautista and the other two, Mantis and what's her face,
The blue lady.
Nebula.
Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula. Like, they're trying to break into the ship and Quill's already on the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they didn't have that, then the movie could have easily been like an hour shorter. Because then well, I guess they don't save the kids, and they don't have the like, they don't set up that girl at the end
Yeah.
as part of the New Guardians. But I feel like they didn't need it. I don't know. I'm still kind of undecided about it.
Alright. I'm kind of with you. So I'm not entirely sure how I felt about the movie. There's certain scenes where, if I write it down on paper, right, and I think as we talk through this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like, oh, this was a good idea. This was a good idea.
Yeah.
I just think the way it was all put together,
Yeah.
it didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, excuse me. After I watched the movie, I was like, I didn't like that. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, since I've sat down and thought about it, I'm like, okay, that was a good thing. That was a good thing. But
Yeah.
in the moment, it didn't
Yeah.
mesh.
Yeah.
So I want to watch it again,
Okay.
and I'll give a small report back next week
Okay.
to see how I felt on second viewing as well.
Yeah.
But like you, I'm very mixed on this.
Yeah.
Right? And I've actually felt similarly about James Gunn's Suicide Squad
Okay.
from, it's not last year, it's a couple of years ago now.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special,
Yeah.
I also felt very mixed on that.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. It's been quite a while now that
That you felt
I
mixed.
felt like this with James Gunn, where I watched the movie or I watched the thing and I'm like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Then when I thought about it later on, I'm like, that's pretty good, that's pretty good, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right, so, again, I'm not sure how I feel.
Yeah.
We'll get back to this.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
But I did really like the show Peacemaker.
Okay.
So perhaps that episodic format where week to week I was, like engaging with the characters, that was more,
Kind of his style.
yeah.
Well, it suited
yeah.
his style better.
Yeah, that I enjoyed that a lot more than anything he's done recently.
Okay.
The Peacemaker show.
That's fair.
So the movie is about two things.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually about a lot of things, but I mean like the main kind of things.
Okay.
First is about animal cruelty,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yes.
some very harrowing,
Yeah. Oh.
animal,
Yeah. The like experiments on animals.
yes.
I didn't enjoy that.
So I've never had a pet, so these types of things don't affect me as much as it would, somebody who has like a deep attachment to an animal.
Yeah.
So
Fair
I'm
enough.
not saying it wasn't upsetting, just
Yeah.
perhaps you at home felt the scene more intensely than me because you related to your
Yeah.
animal or something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm not pro animal cruelty.
I don't know, man. Kind of sounds like you are.
Yeah, the amount I'm denying.
It's getting to the point where it's suspicious.
All right. Anyway, the second thing is eugenics.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
Yes. It's like changing genes, I guess, to like get your perfect, not person per se, but like your perfect combination of genes.
Right. So eugenics are a fringe set of beliefs and practices that aim to quote unquote improve the genetic quality of a human population.
Okay.
So eugenics can take the form of laws such as segregation, like apartheid.
Yeah.
So the apartheid government's reasoning was that the white race is pure.
Yeah.
And race mixing
There we go.
would dilute the white race.
Yes.
So they put in apartheid laws to stop
the
that,
race
right?
mixing,
So
yes.
that's a form of eugenics, but in a much less. It's not okay as the other forms you're going to discuss now.
Yeah.
It's less hectic as those, right?
Yeah.
So the second thing is we have the Nazis who did experiments on people they deemed inferior.
Yeah.
So like the homeless people, people with like drug addictions.
Yeah.
Ethnicities they didn't like Jews or I don't know.
What are they called?
So
Okay.
we're not supposed to say the word gypsies.
Romani.
This mostly
think.
either called Romani or travelers.
Yeah.
So travelers were also, part
Yeah.
of this, right?
Yes.
Groups that they called inferior, right?
Yeah.
So they did something called sterilization. They
Yes.
made them unable to procreate.
Yes.
So that's much more hectic than than just racial segregation laws.
Yes.
Yeah, but
It's a little bit more hectic.
right, and
Yeah.
in the 21st century, it has taken the form of genetic experiments, right?
Test tube babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we face the ethical question of if it were possible to remove certain quote unquote negative traits, should we do it?
Oh, that's a tough one because it's basically just going back into natural selection. Because I was actually thinking about it the other day, where I was like, I wouldn't exist because I'm not very blind, but I'm blind enough to heavily rely on glasses. And I would not exist if natural selection was a thing. That's just how that works.
All right. So I saw this piece on John Oliver, right?
Yeah.
Where the example they used was dwarfism.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. That's it's not much. It's just different to live as a dwarf, as opposed to people without dwarfism, right?
Yes.
It prevents you from like reaching high stuff. You can use a ladder and stuff, but it's you get what I'm saying,
It's more inconvenient.
right?
Well, yeah.
But they had this interview with like a dwarf was proud to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
He didn't view it as a disadvantage. He was proud to be who he was.
Yeah.
So who are you to say this is a negative thing? This person loves themselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
So who am I to decide what's negative or not? Who is anyone?
Yeah.
Well, the villain in this movie. He thinks he has the answer. He even goes as far as to say like, there is no God. That's why I stepped in.
Yeah.
Right. That's how he views himself. A very arrogant person. Right.
Yeah.
But the reason Rocket was able to solve the problem and no one else could was because he was imperfect and thought about things in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So, and at the end of the end of the movie concludes with Rocket saying, "You didn't want to make things perfect. You just hated things the way they were."
Yeah.
Right. Which takes my side of the argument, which is you should love yourself with your imperfections and all.
Yeah.
Right. And it also kind of feeds into the news of this week about the writer's strike. We don't want perfect, quote unquote, perfect scripts generated by AI. We want to see creativity with flaws, that says something about the artist.
Realistically, this podcast wouldn't exist if there were perfect scripts. We'd just be saying the same things week in, week out, and there's no point in doing it.
Yes, there's no point.
Yeah.
In anything, if just a machine does it,
Yeah.
Oh, well, in terms of creative endeavors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on with the villain. I like the performance.
Okay.
But I felt towards the end he got a bit shouty.
That's what I was
All
gonna
he
say.
did was shout.
Yeah.
But like, that first when you're seeing him in the flashback
Yeah.
and we see his like, what's it called, descent
Yeah.
into madness.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like a regular guy, and like, so this is the thing. His downfall is a trope in sci-fi.
Okay. Yeah.
He's very smart. He's a genius level intelligence, right?
Yeah.
But he simply cannot get over the fact that Rocket solved something he couldn't.
Yeah.
Right? He should view that as a win for himself because he created Rocket. So by proxy, it's also his achievement.
Yeah.
Right? However, he's just so petty and jealous, he takes it as an insult.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why he ultimately loses.
Yeah.
That's a classic, you know, in sci-fi, in just movies in general. Like,
Yeah.
you have somebody who, they're so full of themselves.
Yeah.
That's precisely why they lose.
Yeah.
Right? Your thoughts?
There was also the makeup. Like, I feel like the makeup was very, well, I guess makeup slash effects, because the animals as well. Like, I feel like it was very hit or miss. So some looked really good, and they passed as, like, I guess not, I wouldn't say real animals, but you know, like what you would expect.
Hybrids.
Yeah, you'd expect those hybrids to look like that. But then others were a bit clunky and weird looking.
Can I provide a counter?
Go for it.
So, do you remember in the recommendations, either last week or the week before, I was saying I watched a TV show called Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
That's Sweet Tooth, children born with these turning into animals, right?
Yeah.
And this movie looks way better than that TV show.
Okay.
It could just be, you know, movies have a bigger budget, so that's why they could, you know, kind of do more. But for me, in comparison, watching Sweet Tooth like a few weeks ago and then watching this, I'm like, wow, it's way better. But, you know, again, fair enough.
Okay.
What else?
There was also maybe it's explained somewhere else, but I don't remember it. But how is it that they were breathing in space? Because, like,
when Peter nearly died at the end.
Yeah, well, yeah, that.
He has a cybernetic implant.
Oh, right, okay.
The same thing happens at the end of the first movie.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, Gamora's in space and she's about to die.
Yeah.
She also has a cybernetic implant.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That takes care of that.
Yes.
But then. So I'm guessing they use...
It's not for forever, you know, it like helps them a bit, but like they're eventually gonna die if they don't.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, yeah, carry on.
So is that, you know, the whole spacesuit scene where they're breaching Orgocorp?
Yeah.
Are those spacesuits just for propulsion, like direction?
No, again, they die in space.
Yeah, but if they've got a certain amount of time, then why would they not just?
Because it's pretty quick, right? It was less than like 10 seconds and he was about to die.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
fair enough.
It's you have like, because if you don't have that implant, you just immediately pop.
Yeah.
This is just giving you a small opportunity, you know. It's
okay. Fair enough.
It's not making you immune to space. But I think maybe Groot can survive in space.
Well, yeah.
I think he's different from, you know, the rest. He's like a different type of, because he's made of wood.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of chlorophyll, I guess. I doubt he'd need oxygen. Well, he'd need carbon dioxide probably.
Whatever. The thing is, most of them can't survive in space.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. So I feel certain characters made out very well. Certain characters were wasted.
Okay.
The wasted characters were Gamora.
Yeah, she didn't do much.
Yes. I understand she had to be included.
Yeah.
But I feel like if she was just in the first like half an hour of the movie, and they wrapped up that whole, listen, we're not getting back together, kind of thing. Well, this is the thing, right? Ideally, we'd want Gamora to join the team again.
Yeah.
But like I said, Zoe Saldana is leaving.
Yes.
So I think that's why they don't want to, you know, continue her story with the Guardians.
Yeah.
So she has to leave the Guardians at some point in this movie.
Yeah.
So why not do it very early on, get that wrapped up?
Yeah.
So you can focus more on, you know, what's going to be the core team moving forward.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, Gamora's dead. She died in Endgame.
Yeah.
Or the one Infinity War. She died in Infinity War.
Yes.
Right? Their Gamora died. This person is way different.
Yeah.
Right? So either wrap that up quickly, or if you're trying to wrap her back in, it would have been a good kind of symmetrical thing to the first movie, where she was going to die and Quill came and saved her from space.
Yeah.
If she came somehow and saved him,
Yeah.
that would have been a good...
But like she sacrificed herself doing it. Or something.
No.
No? Oh.
Like
just okay.
to join the team again.
Oh, right.
Because that was... That moment in the first movie was kind of, I don't know, a special moment between them.
Yeah.
And this also would be like a reverse of it, but it would be also special,
Yeah.
to reignite the
flame.
Yes, but obviously she needs to leave at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And Peter Quill, I guess, has to go to Earth.
Yeah, which we see at the end.
I don't like that.
Really? Okay.
So, what was the point of the first Guardians movie?
I don't... No idea.
It's about, alright, in certain situations, family sucks.
Yeah.
We have Gamora, who's the daughter of Thanos.
Yes.
But it's your chosen family, the Guardians.
Yeah.
Which, gives you meaning, kind of.
Yeah.
So, Peter's found his meaning with his chosen family.
Yes.
Going back to Earth is like a
side quest.
No, like a betrayal of that idea. He's going back to his actual family.
Yeah.
Right? That's... I just feel as if that's a setup for a future movie, that Peter Quill needs to be on Earth.
Yeah.
So they just said, well, let's have him let's have him meet up with his extended family, because again, it doesn't work in the context of the Guardians franchise.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yes, Gamora underutilized.
Yeah.
Peter Quill hated where he ended up.
Yeah.
Was kind of a passenger in this movie.
Yeah.
So I guess another underused, but he had more to do than Gamora. That's why I'm not as, like.
Yeah. Well, not upset. But
he had enough to do.
Yeah.
It's not like he was. It's just he's not the main character anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he had the same amount of screen time Rocket had in the first one. Yeah. They've kind of swapped places. Rocket is the main character. He's the Rocket.
Sidekick.
Not a sidekick, but
well, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just him not being the lead. I feel he got enough to do. It's just I hated where he ended up.
That's fair.
Drax, I loved.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Drax. Yeah.
That's again, that was the point of his character, right? In the first movie, he's a grieving father.
Yeah.
Thanos killed his daughter and his wife.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect way for him to end up where he has a bunch of kids to look after,
Yeah.
He's just been a father that's been, in hiding with the Guardians.
Yeah.
This Drax the Destroyer persona has been a coping mechanism for having lost his daughter and wife.
Yeah.
And, he can just go back to being that caring person now with the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Adam Warlock. Another one severely underutilized.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that.
So, I'm not comparing... Well, if I don't think about anything else, in the movie, he's fine.
Yeah.
But in the comics, he's a huge character.
Oh.
The Infinity Saga?
Yeah.
He's kind of the main character of that.
Oh, okay.
He fights Thanos at the end.
Wow, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's ultimately the person that, stops it.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like the person we follow as our main hero throughout that saga.
Okay.
Right? He's kind of like a space Jesus type of
yes.
character, right?
Yeah.
But I guess like the Vision and Thor.
Yeah.
He's like the Vision and Thor combined.
Wow.
They gave his story in the Infinity Saga to them.
Oh,
that's what I'm trying to trying to say.
Yeah.
Right. So to have him just be like a side character, it's just kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
He's a member of the team now, so we hope that he'll become a more like main character in future Guardians movies.
Which, if they make more Guardians movies, which is fairly likely.
Yes, but without James Gunn and the original.
It will be like pretty much all of the MCU now, where they've replaced most of them with someone else,
and they introduce the kids.
Yeah.
So there's the Kate Bishop Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Wanda's kids.
Yeah. Peter. Well.
But I don't want to be kidding. Fuck off.
Tom Holland.
Riri Williams.
Yeah.
In Black Panther.
Yeah.
There's people I'm thinking of. Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of kid heroes now.
Yeah.
They're gonna. I assume during Secret Wars, they're gonna split up into teams, and they're gonna have a kids team.
Oh, Falcon as well. Well.
There's a young Falcon.
Oh.
Who?
Wait, no, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Then Falcon becomes a Winter Soldier.
No.
No?
Falcon becomes Captain America.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
But he's not a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a new character coming in.
No, I'm talking about kids.
Oh, okay. Specifically kids.
Yes.
Okay.
I've only spoken about kids so far.
I was thinking about all the replacements.
Look, during Secret Wars, they're gonna split off into teams.
Right.
There's gonna be a kids team.
Okay.
There's gonna be an
adults team.
No. Yeah, man. An Avengers team.
Right.
A West Coast Avengers. A Dark Avengers.
Okay, yeah.
Thunderbolt. The Dark Avengers are the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
But yeah, the point being they're setting up a bunch of teams.
Okay.
So anyway, who else? Rocket. Rocket was great. He's obviously the main character. He was done well.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the opposite of being hard done?
He was
easy done. He was easy done by the movie.
Yes, he was easy
no,
done.
yes, he got enough to do.
He was soft boiled.
So James Gunn said Rocket is the character he most identifies with. And this, I guess, twist that he was the main character all along. And it's kind of like backed up with the fact that the High Evolutionary was the villain all along.
Yeah.
Because they say that he's the one who created the Sovereign.
Yeah.
Who were the villain in the second one.
Yeah.
And he created the Obelisks, who they fought in the second one.
Yeah.
He, I guess, created Rocket.
Yeah.
So,
that he did.
Yes. So they, that as an idea of the High Evolutionary being this,
the main villain.
The person who pulls the strings,
Yeah.
and he's been doing stuff that affected the Guardians this whole time.
Yeah.
I like that as an idea, but in the movie I didn't really feel it.
Okay.
That's another one of those things when I looked at it in hindsight, I'm like, alright, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But at the time in the movie I was just like,
yeah.
Alright.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We spoke about the action, the one take fight.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the only one I really liked. I didn't like that first one where they... what were they doing?
They were fighting.
No, they were in the different suits, right?
With the
Among Us suits.
Yeah, the Orgo Corp.
Well, he said... James Gunn said it's not a reference to Among Us. it's a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey, where they have the different suit colors.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but why do they go there to Orgo Corp?
To get the pass key thing and save Rocket. He has
key.
Yeah, so he has a kill switch inside him.
Yes.
And it's like password encryption.
Yeah.
Encrypted. So they go to Orgo Corp to get the password to unencrypt the kill switch.
Yeah.
And then they get it. Well, yeah, I think they do get it.
Yeah.
And
and then what happens?
They go back to the ship and
they save it.
Yeah, they disable the kill switch.
But he's still going to... So then what happens?
Then the High Evolutionary wants Rocket. So then they go to him and they're like, no, it's a trap. And Gwen
yes, he said, and
it's
that's... I was wondering, how did the High Evolutionary get Rocket? That's what I'm trying to put together. Yeah.
They took him.
Yes,
well,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Because it was a trap.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's a standoff. Bro, once again, this guy's a fucking idiot. In Infinity War, he's the one. They nearly got the glove from Thanos, and he fucked it up.
Yeah.
The biggest idiot in the world. I'm glad he's on Earth. He's out of the way from distracting the other Guardians.
Yeah.
Yes, this guy's a devil. Anyway, who else? Who am I missing? Mantis.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel. Haven't thought about Mantis.
Fair enough. She's very
But
much
she
a side
she
character.
went off on her own.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
She took those big mole
the
things.
obelisks. Yes.
Yeah.
But what is she gonna do?
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Why send her away?
She did. I think she said something, but I don't remember what she said.
She said, "I've been, the same thing that happened to Peter happened to her, right?"
Right.
Peter says since his mother died, he's been going from woman to woman.
Yeah.
He needs to find himself, and
Yes.
part of that is going back to her.
Yeah.
I don't know why part of that is going back to her. Nevertheless, right?
Yeah.
She, the same thing. She
Right.
used to live with ego, and she was dependent on him.
Yeah.
So now, and then she went to the Guardians and was dependent on them. She needs to go off on her own and be independent.
Yes.
So the two of them are doing the same thing.
But
And in both cases, I don't like it. Why? I like the idea of it, but
Yeah.
in terms of, there's no in-story reason. Again, like I said, perhaps Marvel wanted to place Quill on Earth,
Yeah.
so he could, coordinate
Yeah.
with the Avengers.
So
But yeah, that's why I don't understand why Mantis went away.
we might eventually get something where it's like they're in a big fight and she shows up
With
like,
obelisks.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like like
Maybe she gets a TV show
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what was I going to say? I said this is like a one last ride, and they put the one last ride in the trailer.
Yeah.
I thought someone was going to die.
Yeah.
And when it was happening to Quill and Groot's arms start breaking off, I'm like, it's going to happen. But yeah, Adam Warlock saved him.
Yeah.
Now, and you know that thing he did?
Yeah.
The pose?
The God in Adam.
Yes.
The creation of man. That's what it's called.
It's called The Creation of Adam.
Okay, close enough.
Which, it made me roll my eyes. It's like, it's so silly. But again, in the movie I didn't like it. But now that I'm looking back, I'm like, that is so funny. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, Adam Warlock underused.
Yes.
But the character we do get, he's a himbo.
A himbo?
Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a bumbo, but it's a guy. He's just a hot dumb guy, dude. Do you know Jack Grealish?
Yes.
That guy's a pure himbo. Every interview where I hear that guy speak, I'm like, oh, this is a moron. But he is so good looking. He's a himbo. So yes, they made folks. This is what the Looney Left are doing. They made Adam Warlock a himbo.
Also,
Yes, they himbofied him. Yes.
can I just say, originally, like right at the beginning of the movie, when he started speaking, the English accent caught me off guard. Even though Will Poulter is English,
I didn't realize it because in Where the Millers he doesn't have a
that's why I thought, oh, he's gonna have an American accent.
but he does have one in The Revenant.
Yeah, I've watched.
Yeah. But anyway, the Sovereign all have English accents.
Yes.
Elizabeth Debicki, so it makes sense that he also has one.
Yeah, it does.
And what's his name? The High Evolutionary also has English accent.
Yes.
So I think it all starts from him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a lot of nepotism going on in this movie.
Okay.
Did I mention it?
No. Well, a little bit during the context.
Alright. So James Gunn's wife is in this movie.
Yes,
And people get upset about that.
that was mentioned. Yes.
So did I mention that? It's not really a big deal.
You might have.
Directors can cast whoever they want, right?
Yes.
And obviously, they want to cast and just hire people that they like to be around, right?
Yeah.
So James Gunn hired a lot of his friends for this project.
Yeah.
So, for example, do you know who Kraglin is?
I think it's his brother, Sean Gunn.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but the character of Kraglin.
Oh yeah,
He's the guy. He took over from Yondu as the guy with the head fin.
Yeah.
A head fin and an arrow.
Yes.
Yeah, he's James Gunn's brother.
Yeah.
We saw the Ravagers.
Yes.
And I said those guys are the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
From the comics, I mean.
Yeah.
There's a character called Martin X.
Yeah.
He's like a diamond man.
Yeah.
He's voiced by Michael Rosenbaum,
Okay.
who's a good friend of James Gunn.
Ah, makes sense.
He also played Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Ah.
Do you remember that?
No.
Alright. You don't remember Smallville?
No.
Oh my god.
What?
Jesus Christ.
What?
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm gonna boot another co-host of this. Version 3. Right. Anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Okay, so the Orgo Corp scene, chock full of them, right?
Yeah.
So Nathan Fillion is there.
Yeah.
Who's another friend of his.
Yeah.
The Red Lady,
Yeah.
that's played by Daniela Melchior.
Yeah.
She plays Ratcatcher in Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
The receptionist is his wife, as I said.
Yeah.
The villain of this movie
Yeah.
is from Peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
The High Evolutionary, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else.
Apparently there was a Pete Davidson cameo.
Yeah, but Pete Davidson also from Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Just people he likes, he'll just put in his movies.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
He likes Robert De Niro, put him in the movie. Right? It's
Yeah.
people can just put whoever they want in the movie.
Yeah.
If they feel it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So I understand nepotism sucks, but
It is what it is.
what can you do? Yeah.
It's a shame, but so be it.
Anyway, another thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
This guy's face came off.
Yes.
I thought there was gonna be a reveal that is actually Kang the Conqueror. Because look, he has the same color palette, right?
Yeah.
He has a purple costume.
Yeah. And it is just.
Now I'm not racist, but
Hey, wait a second.
so I just saw a black guy with a purple costume. And I was like, Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, but I mean, because he's
Listeners, you hear that? My co-hosts are racist.
Yes, there can be two villains who happen to be black and wear a purple costume.
Yeah.
It's fine. Alright. Anyway, I just thought his face peeling off would be a reveal. That's all.
But nope, it was just his face peeling off.
Yeah.
That
Just a
was
sick
it.
fucking guy, bro. With the face peeling problem. Yeah. That upset me a lot. Yeah. Anyway, the new spaceship is called the Bowie.
Uh-huh.
It used to be called the Milano after Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
Was also another big liberal anti-Trump critic.
Yeah.
David Bowie after, singer.
Yeah.
I didn't like the music in this movie.
Oh, okay.
I really felt like the first two movies were way better than this one.
Fair.
I thought the songs in this movie sucked.
Okay.
Not saying they didn't. We were saying Super Mario, they just choose the most obvious one.
Yeah.
They didn't choose the most obvious ones.
Yeah.
On paper, they make sense. Just
In the actual movie.
experiencing it, I'm like, this kind of sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about the opening of the second one.
Yeah.
They play Mr. Blue Sky and
Yeah.
Baby Groot dancing around.
Yeah.
And when the chain, the beat kicks in and the chain, and Peter gets his power to fight Ego.
Yeah.
It's like they've used music so well throughout the series, and this movie I was just like, it didn't mesh it well for me at all.
That's fair.
You?
I don't disagree. necessarily. I preferred, like, instead of an orchestral score, they used
Actual music.
Yeah.
A soundtrack instead of a score.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like, I think there was a good mix.
Yeah, but the quality of it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Alright.
That's, yeah. But that's just me.
The first, like, the opening scene was an acoustic version of Creep.
Yeah.
Which... These guys aren't creeps.
Well, I think it was more like...
Yeah, look, it's more about being an outsider.
Yeah.
But the first movie was like saying, hey, we as a group of outsiders can come together and be
an insider.
A family. Like, other people may not want us, but we come together.
Yeah.
And we're a family.
Yeah.
So, at the end of that movie, none of them are outsiders anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because they have a family.
Yeah.
So, why did they play the song Creep? It's stuff like that where I was thinking throughout the movie, I'm like, I understand what he's trying to go for.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense.
That's fine.
Anyways, anything else?
No, I think that's about it for me.
I feel like I'm missing first uncensored F-bomb in Marvel movie. Like we saw, like, when Nick Fury gets dusted.
Yeah.
He says and the sand flows away. I think in the second one, Rocket says, Groot says, I'm Groot, and Rocket says, he said we're the guardians of the frickin' galaxy.
Yeah.
Only he didn't say there's stuff like that where it's like, it's implied F words, but this is the first time, like, somebody just said it. And, like, yeah, PG-13 movies are allowed one fuck.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, do you remember X-Men Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Apocalypse walks through a portal and Magneto goes, who the fuck is that guy? Or he says, who the fuck are you? Yeah. But yeah. Bless you.
Oh, also, Groot can say more than I.
Well, yes. So this is the thing now. Did he say that? Or have we become so used to him we can hear his thoughts now? Because remember, all of them at first can't understand him, but after they've spent enough time with him, they can understand it.
Yeah.
Have we, as the audience, spent enough time with Groot that we can suddenly hear him as the words he's speaking? He may have said, I am Groot, but we as the audience have grown so accustomed now, we know
that he said,
I love you guys.
But
that's one idea. The second one is he's been frauding this whole time. He can speak. Yeah, but the fact that the other Guardians can interpret what he says makes me think he is saying stuff. It's just we can't understand, but now we can.
Yeah, I feel like it's well, my interpretation of it is that it's like, I am Groot is like his language, right? And so they've learned to speak his language, but he can also speak English. He just chooses not to.
Oh.
It's like someone who speaks
well, I was going to
Spanish.
say it could be like, he's a tree.
Yeah.
So it's like his vocal cords can only go in one pattern.
Yeah.
I am Groot.
Yeah, well, but he
But that's why
he says we are Groot.
That's why I'm saying something changed.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is not the Groot from the first movie.
Yeah.
This is son of Groot.
Yes.
Groot in the first one died.
Yes.
And then baby Groot is his son.
Yeah.
And this is the grown-up baby Groot.
Yeah.
Jack Groot. He's a... This guy's fucking inch, dude. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We forgot about Groot.
Yeah.
Damn, we forgot about Groot. Forgot about Dre. Forgot about Groot. Yeah, anyway. Is there anything else to say?
Not from my side.
The post-credits.
Yeah.
The post-credits, the first scene was just the New Guardians team.
Yeah.
Like an advert for them, I guess. And the other one was Peter Quill in Earth,
In Earth.
On Earth, just avoiding his shores.
Yeah.
So, nothing much.
Yeah.
I've always kind of liked that the Guardians are kind of separate to the rest of the Marvel Universe.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it's just now like that because Gamora was killed.
Yeah.
That's one thing that kind of like impacted these movies, but for the most part, they just
Yeah.
stand on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
They keep to themselves.
Yeah. So I think this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But with flaws.
Yes.
So I don't know what number I'll give. Like I said, I'm gonna rewatch it this week,
Okay.
and I'll give a short report next week
Okay.
to see where I've fallen, or maybe not next week. Maybe
Okay.
just the day I've reached a consensus. I'll talk about it.
Fair enough.
Do you have anything else to say about the movie?
I mean, my initial review is like a 6. But that's like that's mostly because I just didn't like the length of it. Like I found I lost interest about an hour and a half in, and I just couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you said it was too long.
Yeah.
I actually felt this movie was a good,
Fair.
like I was having enough fun
Yeah.
that it didn't I didn't notice the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. A good movie goes for as long as it needs to.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a good time, I don't mind the time passing.
Yeah.
For example, Avatar, right? It's 3.5 hours, but because I'm having such a blast, it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
As opposed to something that's a pain to watch, even though it might only be like an hour, it's so boring
Yeah.
that
Time passes more slowly because
Yes.
it's yeah.
So can we move on to recommendations?
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a recommendation. It's just kind of like what we've been watching,
Yeah, pretty much.
because there's certain things I'm not recommending. They're just rubbish. It's just I'm just talking through the things I've watched this week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah. Hang on.
I'm hanging on.
Well, you can speak while I'm looking for my thing.
So
I didn't take stapler and close your mouth.
You said hold on, so I was like,
All right, fine.
okay.
You carry on.
Right. So I watched The Wish Dragon this past week.
The Wish Dragon.
Yeah, it's a very cute Netflix animated movie about
A dragon that grants wishes.
Yeah, it's a wish dragon.
Oh wow!
And
What a novel! I mean, who could have guessed?
but it's very Aladdin-y. Like it follows almost exactly the same plot as Aladdin. Poor guy, princess, genie, but in this case, dragon. And then yeah,
Yeah, carry on.
but yeah,
No, carry on. Don't mind me. Just carry on speaking.
So I really enjoyed it. It was a good time for me.
Is that all you watched?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't often watch things.
So, due to the mix-up last week,
Yes.
where I watched The Evil Dead Rise and you watched The Pope's Exorcist,
Yes.
an idea that was floated was we switch, and you watch Evil Dead Rise and I watched The Pope's Exorcist.
Yes.
I don't know if you did, but I watched The Pope's Exorcist.
I did not.
And I was making some fun little jabs and drives, and I was saying, "Oh wow, my co-host, he's a demon racist."
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I've actually watched the movie, and you have a serious problem.
Why?
The demon did nothing wrong. The demon did nothing wrong. Your anti-demon bias is out of control, bro. It's ridiculous. The demon was totally correct. That is truly the most biased review I ever heard last week. And you didn't say this movie is quite funny. There's a lot of great jokes.
Yeah, they are.
I was just very disappointed. The trailer was deceiving.
Okay.
He doesn't say, "You have a problem with me? You can take it up with my boss, the Pope."
Yeah.
He just says, "If you have a problem with me, take it up with my boss."
Well, so before that he says.
It broke my heart. I wanted that line. Take it up with my boss, the Pope. That's all I want to shout at people. You have a problem with me taking up with my boss, the Pope? I would love it. Yeah.
It's like two lines separated. So he goes like,
Yes.
the Pope hired me,
Yeah.
and then take it up with my boss.
Yeah, it sucks. But anyway. So last week I spoke about blank. Every week I've spoken about blank check.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, so I haven't watched the movie this week.
Okay.
They're doing Buster Keaton. They started a
Ah.
Buster Keaton.
Okay.
So I'm watched. They're doing like 2 movies at a time. So I watched the first one. It's
Okay.
called 3 Ages.
Okay.
It's like set in the Stone Age. You know,
Okay.
like Flintstones type.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call that. Jurassic era.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Prehistoric.
Prehistoric times.
Yeah.
One in like Roman times.
Yeah.
And one in the modern day, which is 1920s.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot. It's so funny, dude.
Okay.
You see a lot of like, you know, I spoke about something a few weeks ago.
You spoke about something. Okay. Yes.
I said the physical comedy of something.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Was similar to Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan is a student of Buster Keaton.
Yes.
There's a lot of great physical comedy. Like
Yeah.
he's driving a car,
Yeah.
and the car breaks apart.
And he just keeps.
And he walks forward and he's just holding the the steering wheel, and he looks behind him, and the whole car's like it came apart. Right? There's great jokes like that. So
Oh, sorry. I just remembered. The Witch Dragon is, I think it's produced by Jackie Chan or something.
oh
So it's also got a lot of those little physical things. Like in one scene,
is this a live action movie?
no, it's a like
then it's not physical. It's
well, yes, animated.
animated.
So, yeah,
yeah,
it's-
animated. They can do whatever, bro.
Okay, yeah, but it's got a lot of like. So in one scene, after he meets the dragon, he at some point he goes, "I wish I could fight," but he doesn't realize he said it.
Yeah.
And so when they attack him, he brings out all these kung fu moves, but he like
Beats the dog shit out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So anyway, in between Blank Check series, they do a palette cleanser.
Okay.
And they have a producer. His name is Ben.
Yeah.
He chose a movie called Clifford,
Okay.
which is a movie about Martin Short
Oh.
inexplicably playing a 10-year-old child.
Oh.
He's
Okay.
clearly an adult, and nobody comments on it, right? And it's like, this guy is like an evil kid. He's like the seed of a demon, bro. It's him and Charles Grodin as his uncle, who he's conned like a stay with his uncle.
Yeah.
His uncle's girlfriend feels as if though, you know, he's not good with kids.
Yeah.
So he invites Clifford over to
Oh, goodness, okay.
to prove that he's good with kids, and Clifford is a fucking demon, bro. He's a bad guy. Right, it's a fun movie. I've never heard of it before until I went through it with this. Then
Okay.
so after the Steven Spielberg series, which I finished last week,
Yeah.
there's Clifford, and then the next series was Catherine Bigelow.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Director.
James Cameron's ex-wife.
Oh, right. Okay.
We spoke about the 2009 Oscars where it was the exes going against each
Yeah.
other with Avatar and The Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going through her filmography. I only watched the first one. It's called The Loveless.
Okay.
It's like a biker gang movie. It was made in the 80s, but it's set in the 50s.
Okay.
Starring Willem Dafoe in his first role.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay.
Yes. I don't know if it's first role, one of his first roles.
Okay.
And one of the things we know about Willem Dafoe is he has a huge dick. Right?
Okay.
There's a movie he made with, I think, Lars von Trier, where they had to get a porn star because Willem Dafoe's dick was too big.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
They had to get a porn star who was smaller to do the, you know, like, I don't know.
Love making scenes.
Or whatever. I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
anyway, we see his dick in this movie.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a back shot. We don't see it from the front. But
You
I'm
just
like,
see it hanging between his
yeah.
legs.
But I was just like, that's just like a big dick. How was I like based on the stories, I was imagining something comical, like a baseball bat, but it's just a big dick. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, dude.
Just to tuck it into his sock.
Sorry, dude, whatever. I was imagining something mad, but anyway, that's my review of the movie, by the way. Yeah, that's pretty fun. It reminded me of George Lucas movie called American Graffiti.
Oh yeah,
but with a biker gang instead of street racing.
fair enough.
But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, the next thing I watched was Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh.
which was the first idea for this week's episode.
Yeah, that it
So
was.
yeah, until I changed like at the last minute to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But yes, we were gonna do Dungeons of the Dragons. People have been saying it's underrated. So I was expecting like a 7
Okay.
because I was expecting bad, so underrated would be like a 7.
Yeah.
But it's like a 8.5. It's so
Yeah.
good. Dude.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, I'm having such a great time with this.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And again, part of the reason I didn't want to do Dungeons and Dragons is because I'm not familiar with,
D&D.
I'm not familiar with that IP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I couldn't approach it with like
Like a nerd.
as I would like
nerd.
Guardians of the Galaxy, where I have experience with it before.
Yeah.
I'm just a total newcomer to this, and I was shocked how accessible it was. It was,
Yeah.
there wasn't too much lore. There was like, why do they do this? It was just,
Yeah. Well, so a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff is you kind of make it up as you go.
Yes, it's a,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. I believe this one is based on a certain party that had their Dungeons and Dragons game go on for like 2 years or something. And
Jesus
then they just, yeah. So yeah, it's this is, I believe it's based on that original party, from what I've heard.
All right.
Yeah.
And the last thing I watched this week is called Mafia Mama.
Okay.
It's like this lady, she was whisked away as a baby
Okay.
by her mother to go live in America.
Okay.
But back home in Italy, her family is like the mob,
Oh.
the mafia.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Right, and like a rival gang does a hit on the family,
Yeah.
meaning she's the last relative.
Oh.
So there's like
wow, okay.
a bunch of like, lower level people still there.
Yeah.
They go and they find her,
Yeah.
and she has to become the new Don.
Oh.
Yeah. It stars Toni Collette, who's excellent. I've never seen her in a bad movie.
Okay.
She was cruelly robbed at the 2018 Oscars for Hereditary. Well, I guess the 2019 Oscars,
Yeah.
because Hereditary came out in 2018, so
Yeah.
it would be the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, next week I want to cover Beau is Afraid,
Okay.
which is directed by Ari Aster.
Yes.
So Ari Aster directed Hereditary, which, I
Right.
was saying
Yeah.
Toni Collette.
Yes.
But yes, Toni Collette is the titular mafia mama.
Okay.
And again, I thought it would be kind of boring, but it was kind of fun.
Oh.
I didn't mind it. I liked it. Like
Nice.
6, 7, in and around
Yeah.
there. I'm like,
Okay.
alright. Better than what I expected. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
anything else?
No, that's it.
So, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc.
Yeah.
Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review.
Must be.
Yes. They say you should read to your child at night.
Yeah.
It helps them with their learning.
Yeah.
And somehow they're able to take it in while they're asleep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come to your house.
Okay.
I'm gonna read a scary story to you while you're asleep. if you don't give us a 5-star review, I'm gonna read a scary story while you're asleep. And when you wake up, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm scared. Whoa, I'm so scared." And you're not gonna know why, right? So please subscribe on Patreon to listen to our movie commentaries.
Yeah.
You can find all our links at paicip-pod.github.io/site. That's PAICIP-pod.github.io/site SITE.
Nice.
Please tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell a friend, tell a family member. Last week we found a new route, right? We said tell a friend to tell a family member.
Yeah.
This week, tell a family member to tell a friend, right?
Okay.
We found an avenue, another avenue, right?
Tell everyone.
Anything else you want to say?
If you're sitting in traffic next to someone, ask them to roll down their window.
And tell them, give them that URL.
Yeah.
Tell them it's not a, a lot of people.
It's not a virus.
Yeah, a lot of people are worried that it's that URL leads them to a virus. Yeah, make sure to know it's not, but don't deny it too much. They might think it is a virus. And, you doth protest too much. But anyway, au revoir.
Cheerio.